want you guys to know right quick before we get started, this is going to be the first of two videos that are coming out that are going to feature Bill Maher. So go ahead and expect to get a lot of, believe it or not, I really can't criticize Bill on this one. However, what I can do is I can at least, well, you guys will see for yourself.
Stat on this. Biden administration's student debt cancellation will cost a combined $870 billion to $1.4 trillion. That's a lot of debt forgiveness. Okay, so colleges constantly raise tuition. Then the kids take out more loans. Then the government comes by and pays those loans. Okay, so my tax dollars are supporting this Jew hating?
No, Actually, I lied. Yes, I did. I can't criticize him, except it's not the biggest criticism in the world or a new criticism. It's just the same criticism that I've always given him. You kind of helped push the line for the Democratic Party that ultimately led to what we're seeing today. Now, this past weekend, I chose not to put anything out there because I obviously wanted to just kind of sit back and see some things and see how it would actually happen. But I was also doing that from a position of actually being somewhat busy over the weekend. I'm not going to just divulge what was going on except some normal type personal stuff that, by the way, would keep you away from the computer or keep you away from the news. But of course, I had the smartphone near me at all times, so therefore I could obviously see what was going on on the Twitter. But seeing how it is the first of two videos, and you guys obviously saw the thumbnail, which of course was talking about why it is that Biden is losing the youth vote, and I mean youth vote, not college vote. I'll explain the two in this video here. But we also have some additional information on who exactly has been financing all these protests, and I think I have a pretty good reason why it is that I think I know the real reason why they're trying to do it, even though last week I talked about it not helping the Democratic Party out. And of course, it really and truly does not. But obviously, when you're dealing with a psychotic monster the way we're dealing with, then obviously there is no real reason to be explained. But still, though, we'll get to that a little bit later on. So why is it that Biden is losing the youth vote? Well, this little clip came out on Twitter this past weekend. And of course, it was a clip of a girl at Arizona State University, obviously trying to cope with the whole notion that she's not allowed to graduate. And of course, to go on top of that right there, her career may actually be done before it even starts. Something I talked about in the previous video. Let me go ahead and roll the first half.
I'm not constantly worried about being hurt or being forced from my home or anything like that. I would absolutely stand up again and protest again. I'm disappointed. I'm being restricted from a lot of things right now that I didn't expect to be for standing up for something that I believe in. You know, I have family coming in who I have to let them know to not come to my graduation ceremonies. I am glad that there is a guarantee that my courses will be taken care of, so I don't have to worry necessarily about my graduation requirements and the fact that I will earn my degree as I have spent the past 4 years doing, but I'm just disappointed. I mean, I'm a 2020 high school grad, so I wasn't able to walk then. And so, here it is. I'm not able to walk now.
I had to stop that close to midway. It seems to me like there's a lot of cope here, but don't worry, the cope is ridiculous because I think it's pretty obvious that the reality is starting to set in on this person. And oftentimes the reality will set in on somebody and you'll still be laughing or giggling about it or crying about it or whatever while you're actually doing it. It's a complete total range of emotions, especially if you are a college student, and this person right here is obviously a theater major. I went back and double checked and looked into it, and that's actually what this individual does. But still, though, at the same time, we got to watch the rest of this and see exactly how far the cope has gone with her.
You know what you know now, like you said, you were standing up for a cause. Would you do it again?
I mean, yeah, I would. I was doing what I believed was right, and I still believe it to be right. I would stand up for the cause again, even if it means something negative to me, because like the cause is so much harm has been done to all of those people already. I am safe. I am fine. I might not graduate, and that might harm future job prospects and stuff like that, but I'm not I'm not like in physical danger. I'm not constantly worried about being hurt or being forced from my home or anything like that. I would absolutely stand up again and protest again.
She knows her life could, in fact, be over, or maybe she's kind of coming to the realization of the fact that she may be working at McDonald's over the next few years. I mean, but then again, at the same time, the McDonald's now has like $20-some-odd minimum wage, even though the price of a Big Mac is also going through the roof as well. So we'll have to wait and see when it comes to her. But now, this right here was at Arizona State University. Arizona State University is also the same university that Kyle Rittenhouse tried to attend. And of course, people decided to shout that down and ensure he cannot go to that university. Of course, these were people who were radicalized by the mainstream media. It's funny exactly how it is that our mainstream media has such a hold on people to the point to where they deny the actual reality. By the way, we're going to be revisiting Kyle Rittenhouse and that incident here in the near future in a much, much more longer video, because obviously it's a political season and therefore certain topics are going to come up. And of course, I'm going to go back in time and kind of explain how it was that the mainstream media manipulated everybody when it came to that topic. But back on topic here. So here's the deal. This girl here is obviously coping with the fact that, well, she can't walk the stage. Now, some students elect not to walk the stage, like me, for example. Back in 2021, I elected not to walk the stage at the university I was graduating from, not because of the school or anything like that. It's because it was a COVID graduation, and quite frankly, I didn't feel like wearing a mask in the heat. I mean, I live in the South. I live in North Carolina. It's hot. It's humid. So therefore, I was obviously not going to do that. And of course, you're already wearing the robe. Not to mention, I had already walked the stage once before for my previous degree. Not talking about my degrees to brag or anything, but to just simply say that there are some times where people say, look, I don't think I want to do a graduation ceremony. I don't think I want to go. But still, though, the point is this right here. Walking the stage is obviously a very, very big deal. And of course, in the state of Michigan, they had protests occur, which, by the way, we're going to just cut a small snippet of it for you guys now. But I'm going to be explaining a little bit further in the second video exactly what happened there. But here's a quick
commencement.
It was a day they waited and worked for.
And all the final exams finally paid off.
One of honor and prestige, graduation at the University of Michigan.
To the indomitable class of 2024, you did it! Congratulations!
With the pomp and circumstance came protest.
Disclose! Divest! We will not stop! We will not rest!
About 50 graduates calling for the university to divest from companies with ties to Israel. The pro-Palestinian protest, a response to the ongoing conflict in Gaza and Israel. Above the big house, a banner in support of Israel reading "All Jewish Lives Matter." While the protesting students didn't want to talk on camera, their signs and chants conveyed their message. Police and faculty were prepared for this, helping to minimize the disruption while allowing the right for peaceful protest.
I think it was handled absolutely, well.
Now, guys, that right there was just a small snippet of what happened at the University of Michigan, and I'm showing you guys something here in the B-roll footage of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who went to her daughter's graduation, and of course, she got confronted by the Free Palestine crowd. I'll play it anyways.
How do you justify genocide? How do you justify genocide? How do you sleep at night?
Genocide. How do you justify?
What are you doing about Palestinian children?
I appreciate.
What are you doing about Palestinian students at the U of M?
I appreciate you raising your voice. I'm here to have a graduation meal with my daughter.
How do you? What about all of the children that are in mass graves? What about?
Don't you just love it when the left turns on its own? I mean, it's insanely ridiculous. Of course, we complain about their protests and stuff, but just remember that while they do this, they're attacking their own side. So in the words of Napoleon, don't interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake. Let these people eat them, okay? Just figure I'd go ahead and point that out. Now let's get back to it. So why is this happening? Well, the biggest reason why it's happening is that their current leader, their leader in charge, the current president of the United States, he's not exactly respectable. That right there is the real reason why this right here is the case. Now, look, I understand that young people are going to do what young people do, especially college students, but I did say earlier that Biden was losing the youth vote, not so much the college vote. The college vote will still overwhelmingly vote for the current administration. They will still overwhelmingly vote for him, even though it will definitely be a much, much smaller amount. However, a lot more young people ages 18 to 29 are now finally starting to get engaged, and these right here are not college students. A lot of these are students that, guess what, went to college, got out of college, and then guess what they did? They were forced to work another job that was not the job in their field, or maybe they actually worked the job they went to school for. There's also a lot of people who are working trades, a lot of people who are stuck at a job. They've been in a job for a very long time, say like in retail, for example. People who, quite frankly, see that the dollar's not going anywhere right now. You know, the Oliver Anthony types, we did that rich men north of Richmond song. I have a hard time saying it out loud, but the point is this right here. People are starting to realize that the country was, in fact, better off, at least for the first 3 years of the Trump administration. Even in 2020, during COVID, even with the riots and everything, people still had money in their wallets, and obviously the price of everything, when it was on the shelf, was not the exorbitant price that you're paying now. And when your fearless leader sounds like this,
an order must prevail. Throughout our history, we've often faced moments like this because we are a big, diverse, free-thinking, and freedom-loving nation. In moments like this, there are always those who rush in to score political points. But this isn't a moment for politics. It's a moment for clarity. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, or discrimination against Arab Americans or
old, weak, frail, also not on point. He's trying to call out both sides of the aisle, but for whatever reason, he's trying to tell people that what they're seeing is not true. He brought up Islamophobia, and he brought up not only Islamophobia, but he also brought up not all. Look, we understand. We know not all Muslims are bad. We know that not all Palestinians are bad. We know that not everybody is bad. Okay, we already know this. Why in the world would you feel the need to do this, especially given the fact that these people are protesting the country of Israel? Why in the world would you feel the need to do this? Well, it's like I said before in several videos. The pro-Palestine side is his voter base. These people intend on supporting Joe Biden, even though a good portion of them will probably support Dr. Cornel West in the coming election. You're going to see him surge here real soon, I promise you. The point is this right here. Most young people don't respect this old fart that's in office right now. They never have. Look, if Biden just simply came out and put his foot down and took a daggone side, he probably would have a lot more respect. Even if he was siding with the evil side rather than the good side, at least people would, in fact, have some respect for him, and his words might actually be heeded. But when you give a response like what I just showed you just now, this right here are the results you're going to get. Which now leads me to what we led the video off with. Why is Biden really and truly losing the youth vote? Well, the other night, Bill Maher, he had Kellyanne Conway on. Kellyanne Conway, by the way, she is a Fox News contributor now. She goes on from time to time. And she ran Trump's presidential election team back in 2016. She helped get him elected. I personally think Trump should consider bringing her back because regardless of what you may think of the woman, she is, in fact, smart, at least when it comes to politics. Well, this conversation to me, I thought was very, very interesting, especially seeing how it was that Kellyanne, for the most part, was also not only able to disarm the beta male liberal to her right, but also at the exact same time was able to get Bill, for the most part, to see the bigger picture. I haven't seen anybody do this in a while, but with that right there being said, let's go ahead and get this first part.
Suggest, and I think the momentum that he's got right now suggests if everything keeps going as it is, and I take nothing for granted, he probably will be reelected.
It's May. A million things could happen.
Oh, right. And if Biden were ahead in the polls, if the CNN poll had Biden at 49 and not 43, and Trump at 43 and not 49, and if young people weren't leaving Joe Biden, we'd say, well, he has it in the bag. It is real.
We can get to all that. It has nothing to do with the fact that he will not concede an election.
No, it doesn't. And also, if Democrats were ahead, they'd still be wetting the bed because that's what Democrats do. But the big takeaway, Because I talk to Democratic strategists all the time, just like I'm sure you do. No, and they're all, no matter how big the lead is, they're always worried that somebody somehow is going to blow it, or the youth vote won't turn out, or a hidden Trump vote will turn out.
They should be, because I think of bedwetting and Biden in the same sentence. So
Okay, that's not bad.
Okay, now guys, really quick, there's actually a lot from this particular episode in terms of, let's just say derangement, okay? Because obviously Bill Maher and these people have got these people hopped up on he'll never leave office. First of all, former President Trump gets elected again in 2024, which I think he will be. He'll be leaving on January the 20th, 2029. He can only serve one term. I ran into this issue the other day with a woman. That wasn't a discussion or a political discussion. I mean, I'll tell you how the discussion started, but it wasn't like me and her were talking politics. And I didn't even really bite back or argue back. I just wanted to see exactly when the words were coming to my ears, exactly what was going to be said. She wasn't deranged or anything like that, but obviously the mainstream media has this stranglehold on people where people actually believe it and they actually deny what the hell the actual law is, or they deny the reality in their face. This lady I was talking about the Puff Daddy situation, just good old-fashioned small talk, and, somehow or another, it's like, well, I think this whole thing is kind of political. And, of course, from there, it kind of snowballed. But I didn't really say anything, didn't really get to a discussion or argument or anything like that, not give away any names or anything. But the lady basically says somewhere in there, well, we got this one guy who's in office right now who absolutely is horrible. He's a fruitcake, and the last guy is trying to become president again. But if he gets elected, I don't think he'll leave. These people deny. They actually deny what the Constitution says. That right there is how big of a stranglehold the mainstream media has on their minds.
He'll never leave. And there are people on the right pushing. The American Conservative magazine has...
He hasn't conceded the 2020 election yet. What do you mean how? You make it sound like it's a crazy idea.
No,
he has not conceded the one he did lose.
I'll concede it because it's very obvious who the president is. It's very obvious Joe Biden is the president, presiding over 20% increases in gas and groceries, presiding over 22% increases in health care, 36% in car insurance. I mean, people can't afford the natural accoutrements of an adult life, which is why young people have abandoned Biden. So it's very clear Donald Trump is not the president. Our economy sucks. The border is open. 8.8 million people came here. That's larger than the population of 39 states. It's insane. We know who the president is.
We will get...
But I wanted to play that clip there first to kind of give you guys an idea of exactly what's driving all this, okay? I mentioned, I think I said at the very, very beginning, that there's a psychotic beast right now that's kind of controlling things. And, of course, in video number 2, I'm going to talk more about the additional receipts that we have about who's actually financing what the hell is going on. The names, of course, are not going to surprise you, but we'll talk more about that soon. And I'll tell you exactly why it is that they're really truly doing, even though they, for the most part, already know that they're going to lose. But we'll get to that then. The point is this right here. Obviously, Bill, and you guys heard earlier where he said he didn't want tax dollars to pay for Jew hate, and I understand that right there. Of course, we got a lot of people out here who've been calling this type of crap out for a while, but also to go on top of this, these people obviously still live in this bubble where it is that they believe that that's right. We have a former president that's running for president, and quite frankly, he's not going to leave office after he gets elected, but you're not providing anybody anything else for people to actually, how do I say, vote for. But this last point right here is what kind of made my day on this one.
This stuff is, I'm so incensed about some of this stuff because, when I read about the college loans, where's the stat on this? Oh, Biden administration's student debt cancellation will cost a combined $870 billion to $1.4 trillion. That's a lot of debt forgiveness. Okay, so colleges constantly raise tuition. Then the kids take out more loans. Then the government comes by and pays those loans. Okay, so my tax dollars are supporting this Jew hating?
No, you
I don't
for
think
all the
so.
tents. No, I agree with you completely. Now people are really upset. By the way, it was never fair. You can't have plumbers and pipe fitters paying for the student loans of doctors and lawyers. It's not fair. And I'm all for this. That
Sounds like Biden is not pro-Israel either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Which position is he today? But look, on the protesters, the White House didn't seem to mind it or matter much or say anything until the optics went against him. They're worried about the political fallout for Biden instead of the fact that these spoiled brats pretend it's about free speech, it's about free stuff. Bring me lotion and vegan food. They never once said release the hostages. They never are making demands that would actually help other people.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But that's not what we're talking about.
And of course, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what the hell is going to come up, and that right there, of course, is going to be student loans. And Kellyanne Conway was 100% correct when she says, look, pipe fitters and plumbers and people who do trades work, which, by the way, a lot of these people nowadays, especially these young people, would be benefiting if they actually learned a trade. I mean, by God, I wish I had been skilled at trade outside of the common woodworking that I learned when I went to an alternative school in basic plant management, which is, of course, little things that you would do around the house, and, of course, automotive work. If you actually learn these things, these types of skills, then obviously you wouldn't be in a situation where your career would be ruined by going to one of these Ivy League universities or one of these campuses to actually protest. And by the way, like I said in video number 2, we'll discuss why it is that this right here is actually a problem, of course, for the Democratic Party and who's actually financing it. The point is this right here. The student loan thing is not something I think that the students are really and truly that interested in right now at this moment in time, because once again, it's the flavor of the month situation. We got to protest on behalf of Palestine. There's going to be something else here real soon. Now, many people are pointing out that this right here is the October surprise, but I think it's a pretty weak October surprise, given the fact that the price of insurance is through the roof, like Kellyanne mentioned. Also, not just the price of insurance that's through the roof, but you've also got not only that, but you've also got this other situation where the price of everything else is through the roof. Dude, the price of food is through the roof. Everything is much, much more expensive. You got young people right now who are being forced to work 2 and 3 part-time jobs, and the paycheck is still not giving, is still not stretching, it's still not going as far as they do. What about young couples that get married and have children at a very young age? What about those who choose not to go to college? The good old-fashioned working-class families out there who have kids in their early 20s, the ones that still do exist, which, by the way, they still exist in every single state. Those people here still tend to vote Democrat based upon the fact that the social safety net is there just in case something actually happens, like they lose their job. But they also realize that a job pays more money, it's a better overall opportunity, and also to go on top of that there, it also provides benefits, especially if you're a young person who's got a family, you got children, you're probably going to need the benefits that come with said job, insurance, things like that there. That right there is the type of stuff that I think people are really and truly looking at, and they're seeing that it's not exactly stretching the way it needs to stretch, or it didn't stretch the way it did when Trump was in office. I said it before, that it's not really so much the college vote. It's really more along the lines of those who didn't go to college. I mean, a lot of people out there who are educated and very, very educated, highly educated, but yet at the same time, they have no common sense. So therefore, we kind of say that, look, to be so smart, you're pretty daggone stupid. That right there is something that, quite frankly, is pretty obvious in today's world. And these were the half-baked personalities that are actually driving U.S. policy at this moment in time. So, of course, people are obviously going to be a little bit pissed off about the situation going on. And that right there includes a lot of young people who, quite frankly, are between the ages of 18 and 30 that didn't go to college, don't intend on going to college because maybe they got kids, maybe they need to work a job, maybe they got other responsibilities. And quite frankly, they're considering putting Trump back in office, so therefore the country can be better off because they know that when Trump was in office, the nation itself was in fact better off. And here's something else too. After hearing that, there's 2 points that need to be made. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go back, not to the college student, but to the person I was just talking about. The 18 to 29-year-old person at home that did not go to college, who's maybe working a job or 2 jobs, or can't afford college, but maybe they got a child or something, or maybe they're in a relationship. Maybe they got married at a young age and the marriage just fell apart. Okay, that type of stuff does in fact happen. We hear people in different communities talk about this all the time, but the point is this right here. They ain't got time to go to school. They ain't got time to go to college. They have to go to work, okay? If the economy completely craps the bed, a lot of these people are looking at this situation. They're saying, well, look, I've got either A, collecting unemployment, and eventually it's going to run out because eventually they're going to force me to go back to work at a crap job where I'm probably not going to make anything at all. That's option number 1. Or option number 2, I need to think about the benefits and whatnot. Maybe I should join the military. And by the way, people are not going to want to join the military under this administration. There will be a video on that a little bit later on this week, kind of a retread of one that I did on Gear Issue 33 that I'm going to be kind of re-updating and kind of talking about here on Claymore. So make sure you guys stick around for that. Not to mention the Russell Brand video and conversions coming out on Tuesday as well. But the thing is this right here. This person right here is looking at this situation and saying, I have no way out. I have to put Trump back in office. That's the only way things are going to change. And then you got option number 2. And option number 2, the college student themselves, they view Biden as not far left enough. These were the same people who were screaming and hollering for free health care, free this, free that. These are the same people who are doing all these performances. Like I've said before, these protests were never really and truly about Palestine. These protests, for the most part, were performative. Yes, there's some true believers in the crowd. But for the most part, these protesters are just simply here to be a disturbance. They bring all their other grievances with them, and that right there is the real reason why they're there. The vast majority of the protesters that were at the University of Michigan, they weren't protesting because they cared about the situation with the Palestinians. They didn't care at all. It's all performative. It's all a bunch of BS. I mean, it's kind of what Kellyanne was saying. They were asking for food. They were asking for soy products. This kind of goes back to the Chaz Chop. One of the demands that their leader made when they did that entire situation was that they demanded vegan food. It's a great big giant joke just simply designed to upset people, and people have had enough of it. And this part also includes people ages 18 to 29 who normally vote Democrat, but now they can kind of see Democratic Party's kind of a joke. With that right there being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and halt this video now. Make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Video number 2 will be kind of an extension of this one here, but it'll be more so explaining exactly who the other donors were. I could have put it on one video, but if I did that, it would have been an extremely long video because it's a lot to go into. And I want to kind of shorten these videos down. With that right there being said, once again, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. Video 2 will be out in a few hours where I discuss the other half of this, and I'll see you guys later.